How's it going, troops? Welcome to today's video where we are discussing what Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has said this morning about possibly putting British troops into Ukraine. I'm Craig, a former British soldier. Let's talk about this then. It's not exactly what you think though when you first saw the headlines. Headlines were Starmer is ready to put British troops on the ground in Ukraine, but it's actually if a peace deal is reached. There's obviously positives and negatives to this, and a lot of people are still against it. But what he is saying, if a peace deal can be reached and the war can come to an end, then he believes we should put British troops into Ukraine along the border to secure not only the continent, but also the UK. He feels if a peace deal is reached, there is nothing stopping Putin from attacking again. Which I do understand. If a peace deal is reached, he's done it once before. What is stopping him from doing it again? He's got his reasons, whether you agree with him or not. If a peace deal is reached, it doesn't mean those reasons of why he has invaded, why he has attacked Ukraine has actually been reached. He says it's because of sort of Nazism within Ukraine, the political leaders, and obviously NATO then encroaching into Ukraine close to the Russian borders. So this brings up the first issue. Peace deal is reached, and then every European country, including the US, decides to put troops in the ground in Ukraine along the border. All you're doing is basically just pissing him off again, right? The issue was Ukraine was possibly looking to join NATO. They wanted to station sort of air defense systems, missiles and troops alongside into Ukraine to obviously protect that border close to Russia. If you then go and come to a peace deal and then put troops on the ground, all you're doing is doing exactly what he thought he was doing in the first place. And you're just going to annoy him and wind him up. I think if a peace deal was reached, I think putting a large number of troops on the ground is most probably one of the worst things that you can do. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments section. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can become a channel member or head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk and buy some of our t-shirts, coffees, mugs and patches. I really appreciate all the support and it helps us put out more great content for you guys. So next one then. A lot of people believe obviously this is nothing to do with us. This is between Ukraine and Russia. Yes, it's in our continent. Yes, we used to be part of the EU, but we no longer are. But we are part of Europe. People still feel this is nothing to do with us. This is between Ukraine and Russia. And there's so many issues inside the UK that the PM should be concentrating on what's going on, protecting our borders, sorting out our country before he then thinks about securing another country. But what the PM is trying to say is that the issues within Ukraine directly affect us and our security. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Following the war over the last 3 years, yes, possibly it is obviously an issue with the European security, but is there a direct threat to the UK anymore? I really don't think there is. Does Putin want an all-out world war? I don't think he does, in my personal opinion. When I was in the army, all you wanted to do was go in ops, get to war, do the actual soldiering stuff. So there's most probably guys in the UK military now who most probably do want to deploy. They want to get away and they want to do things. But now looking from an outsider's perception and no longer serving, I don't feel like we should be getting involved. I don't think, yes, we can help and we can support in certain ways, but I don't feel like we should be putting in direct support. And the other issue is now we've got possible black holes in our budget, missing loads of money. He's even come out and said we can't support a large force on the ground for a long period of time. We don't have the personnel, we don't have the kit and equipment, we don't have the ammunition, and we don't have the funding to support it alongside all the other taskings we've got going across the world. We wouldn't be able to put a large enough force along the border in Ukraine anyway to have any major effect. We'd only be able to put a small battle group, most probably, on the ground doing a small footprint in actually Ukraine, and it wouldn't really make a difference. You'd need a large massive support from the rest of the EU and NATO, and whether the rest of the countries are ready to get involved is another matter. That's down to them, but we wouldn't be able to have a massive effect anyway. I think you'd really upset the country, which he's already done anyway, because even though it would be a peacekeeping mission, because of where it would be in the situation that's happened, you're still putting those guys and girls, their lives at risk massively. It wouldn't be a simple peacekeeping mission like Cyprus is nowadays. It's going to be a lot riskier and a lot higher chance of something kicking off or something going wrong with our troops on the ground. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. He says, he doesn't say it lightly, but at the end of this war, when it comes, cannot merely become a temporary pause before Putin attacks again. What we need to do is increase our budget. We currently spend 2.3% of GDP on our defence, with Labour for the last few months now saying that they will increase it to 2.5%, but they still have not set a date because they're waiting for an armed forces review. And you've got Trump apparently is calling for all European countries to increase their budget to 5%, with British military chiefs at least pushing for an increase to 2.65%. With that sort of funding, yeah, we most probably could support this, but once again, I think people are so annoyed with what's going on within our country that anything outside of our country that isn't a direct threat, they don't believe we should be getting involved. And to be honest, I feel like I'm really starting to agree with that, even though the soldier inside of me is like, yeah, you just want to get away, you want to do your job, you want to do your things. But ultimately, with what's going on in our own country, I think we need to sort that out first, because we are in disarray. We're in an absolute disarray. And I think the war needs to stop, but putting British troops on the ground is most probably the last thing that we need to think about right now, because yes, Putin may attack again, but I still don't think it's a direct threat to the UK and direct threat to human lives and British lives at the minute. I think we've got too much going on. We need to concentrate on getting better equipment. One, we need to concentrate on the country, and two, of the military, we need to concentrate on obviously replenishing all our ammunition stocks, increasing our budget, getting the Ajax finished, getting the Challenger 3 finished, getting fully trained on the Archer, and then finally getting the RCH 155 in, because we haven't really got any howitzers at the minute apart from the 14 Archers, but they're only temporary. The Ajax isn't fully operational yet. What else is going on? The Challenger 3, we've given away loads of Challenger 2s. The Challenger 3 is not in yet and operational. So from an armoured and a tank sort of side, we haven't got that. We haven't got the full support of the artillery. Recruitment and retention is just at an all-time low. We haven't got the personnel. We're below 73,000. And as it's come out in the news recently, the majority of them are unfit. They're unhealthy. They're overweight, or they're medically downgraded. So the actual spearhead of the army is only a very small, minute number of the 73,500. This is turning into a bit of a rant, but I just think at the minute, if I took my soldier head off, outsider's perspective, and actually looked at it, I think it's most probably a mistake sending troops into Ukraine, whether it's for a peacekeeping deal or not. I don't think we've got the manpower, I don't think we've got the kit and equipment, and I think ultimately you're just going to start pushing Putin's buttons again. Ultimately, he doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO. He doesn't want us encroaching into Ukraine's territory, getting closer to the Russian territory, possibly becoming a threat. So he's just going to go on the offensive again. We know he is. So I think we need to take a step back from this one. But like I said, I'd be very interested to know what your thoughts are on this. So please do comment below. I'll be very interested to hear what you've got to say. But thank you for watching. Remember to head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk if you want to support the channel. Check out some of our amazing coffee blends. They taste really good. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.